What up, what up? It's Ugly Money CEO, Ugly Money Nietzsche, and I just skipped class with the progress report. It's that ugly money.
The progress report.
So what's going on? It's your girl Lala Shepherd. This is another episode of Skipping Class presented by the Progress Report, man. You know, we link with all the hustlers and all the entrepreneurs, man. I got Ugly Money Nietzsche in the building. How are you?
Yeah, man. We here, man. Long time coming. I think the last time I was here, I was a rapper, so it's dope to come back as a CEO this time.
Yes, sir. Man, and like I said, man, you do a lot of different things, but I want you to say in your own words, what all do you do?
I'm a hustling ass nigga, man. Nah, man, I'm a businessman. I'm a hip hop businessman, entrepreneur. Anything in the hip hop industry that needs to get done, I try to get it done in some shape, form, or fashion. I just learned a lot on my way up as an artist, and I learned a lot of things, you know, at trying to, you know, pursue my career as an artist. And so I learned how to shoot videos, and I got on the radio because I wanted to play my song, and then I started promoting parties. So I learned how to put events together. And so, you know, all those things later on in life become skill sets that you can monetize and skill sets that, you know, you can help other people with.
That's facts. And even before that, as a child, you was interested in instruments?
Yeah, I played drums.
Okay,
drum
cool.
research. Yeah, I played drums all through high school. I got a college scholarship, Virginia Commonwealth University, a percussion scholarship. So I was a drummer back in the day.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's hard.
Yeah.
So, I mean, what did you think when Drumline came out?
You know, I was actually supposed to be in that movie.
Damn.
Crazy thing. Yeah, I was my freshman year of college. They had us send in video submissions to for the movie, and you know, I got a call back or whatever, and I thought it was some BS. I didn't think it was a real, you know, big movie or whatever, and it turned out I didn't go because I was in Virginia, it was all the way in Atlanta. I didn't go, and you know, it turned out to be Drumline. So it's bittersweet, you know what I mean? I could have been in that movie. I was asleep back then.
Damn, man.
Yeah.
For sure.
But I was the guy that could read music. You know, Nick Cannon was the guy that couldn't read music. I was the bald head guy that was like Flight of the Bumblebee. Like, you know, me and my brother DJ such and such always laugh about that because he went to a high step, you know, dancing band, and I was more chorus style, like really playing big notes and things of that nature. But you know, every now and then when I see a drum set, I'll tear up a little bit. Okay,
I was gonna ask you, could you still?
A little bit, you know what I'm saying? At the music summit, I usually have a drum. I used to have a live band, and you know, I'll get back there and play around a little bit. You know what I'm saying? It's always fun. It's always fun to grab the sticks.
Nah, that's hard.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about you being an artist, P-Nyce. So, like, what made you want to be an artist at that time, and at what point did you be like, all right, this ain't necessarily gonna work out?
Well, I had an undying love for music, and coming from the city that I came from, the city I'm from in Virginia has no stoplights. Shouts out Dinwiddie and McKinney. It's a city with no stoplights. So if you came to my hometown, you would really think that I was supposed to be a farmer or a tobacco farmer or something like that. But you know, I always had big dreams. I always had, you know what I'm saying, I would see the things on TV and BET. I'm like, hey, I want to do that. And my mom was always the type of young, you know, woman to tell me, like, you could do anything you want to do, you know what I mean? And it sounded crazy back then, but, you know, now I thank her for it, for just giving me that kind of push. And so, you know, I embarked on a hip hop career, and I was in Augusta, Georgia, and I got signed in 2014 by Ball MJG and Jazzy Faye. Shouts out Push Management. And so to have a situation where you have some legends like that really believe in you when they've been around the Gottis and the Dolphs and everybody from Memphis, but to get this kid out of Augusta, Georgia by way of Virginia, you know, it was an extreme honor to me. And so I took advantage of that situation by learning as much as I could, by networking as much as I could, because a lot of us don't understand just the importance of networking, being in that room. And when you get in that room, you better work it. You feel what I'm saying? Now, some people can go in the room and they just sit and be a fly on the wall. I wasn't that guy. You put me in this room, I'm gonna make friends, I'm gonna shake hands, I'm gonna get numbers, because the business relationships that I met, that I had and created back then are some of the business relationships that I prosper from now. And so, you know, your network is your net worth. So, you know, when it was time for me to retire from rapping and try to figure out what I was doing with my life, those relationships and that networking that I did still ran true to this day. You know what I'm saying? I still have great relationships with a lot of the same people.
Period, man. I agree 100%. I think, you know, especially being just in our field in particular,
for sure.
You better network.
You got to know somebody.
But it got to be strategic networking too. You know what I mean? I think, you know, you can talk on that too. Like, do you have a formula for networking? Because it's like, for me, I try to set an intentional goal so I don't overwhelm myself. But what about you?
Well, I purposely look for people that got a light, people that's going to continue to go.
Gotcha.
A lot of people just look for the big dogs.
Right.
But the big dogs already got their people. You feel what I'm saying?
Facts.
So I look for the guy that's hungry. I look for the guy that's, you know what, 5 years from now, he's going to be the big dog. Or 10 years from now, he's going to be the man. And so I look at a person's, first I look at a person's moral compass. Are they a good human being? Are they a person that can, you know, be a man in their word or whatever? And then the second thing is just like, what's their work ethic? Like, are they going hard? You know what I mean? Because you have to love this. If you're just in this for the money starting off, you're not going to make it far because the money doesn't come from years and sometimes years and years later. And so I look at people that have that undying passion. I've always said I'm investing in passion. If you're passionate about this and you would do this without a check, then those are the type of people I want to work with because I'm passionate about it myself. There's no way at this point in my life that I'm still in the hip hop industry if I wasn't passionate when, you know, I didn't start reaping, you know, the fruits of my labor until later on. And so I always look at that like, hey man, the hustler always gonna win. So I look at a hustler like, okay, that's a person that's gonna be here. That's a person that's gonna grow. That's a person that's gonna be something in the future. So let me pour into him now. And if he's a real solid one, like I think he is, you know, it may be a situation where I need an opportunity. I might need a favor later on in life. And you know, those favors, they stack up. And you know, if you've been solid through a couple of years, you ended up and you turn around and look at your contact list and you can touch a lot of different people. Nah,
that's facts. That's facts. Now, getting it back into music, is it true that you had a situation with Future at one point?
Yeah, I was a Freebandz A&R. I mean, I'm still, I think that's a situation where we never it's always gonna be love and respect, you know what I'm saying?
Got you.
Anytime they need me, I'm always there. They put their arm around me about two years ago. We were doing talent search tours. And so, you know, we went all over cities and things of that nature. And I think how I got that situation was providing value. It was like, well, they saw that like, okay, this guy packs it out in Mississippi and then turns around to go to Alabama and do the same thing, and turn around and go to Tampa and have the same reaction. And that was the thing. I always wanted to be a person, any room that I step into, I want to be able to provide some kind of value. Facts. And so when they saw that, you know what I'm saying, they you know, they put their arm around me, and it's been love ever since. And I A&R'd a couple of projects over there, you know what I'm saying, I'm really proud of that.
No, for sure.
Yes, sir.
Now, just everything that you said so far, just in terms of, you know, being an artist, learning just the ropes of an artist and things that they need to do. So is that what motivated you to begin managing artists?
I wanted to be the big homie that I never had. I looked at everything that I had, all the ups and downs, all the trials and tribulations that I had as an artist. And I was like, well, how can I be of service to other people? And that was when I changed my name. I rebranded. I switched everything. I switched my mentality because often as artists, you know, we got to be kind of selfish sometimes. Listen to me. Hey, play my music. Check this out. Me. And I switched my mindset to be one of service. How many people can I help that want to help themselves? And when I did that, that was when I had a drastic jump in success and a drastic jump in my brand where, you know, the Ugly Money brand is one of the fastest growing brands in the Southeast really quick. And that's because we come with the mentality of how can I help?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And so when people see that it's genuine, like, oh, this dude really trying to, like, he really take people to Boozy. Like, he really took this guy to Gunna. Like, he took this guy to Money Bag. Yo, you can see it. You can't Photoshop this. Like, he said he was going to do it. He really did it. And when people see that, you know what I'm saying, the reception has been amazing.
Nah, for sure. I mean, shit, I respect y'all brand. You know, we come to the summit every year, you know what I mean? And we're going to get into that as well, too. Now, speaking of on the good side of things, we got to talk about the bad side of things. You got artists, and this is why I personally just don't like managing niggas. I don't, because it's just, people be ungrateful. And, you know, talk about just the ugly side of things. And you got one artist now that's like, he's like on a whole hobo tour just going off. Like, he tried to say the chains was fake and shit, just everything. So talk about dealing with negative stuff.
Well, you know, what good comes with bad. You feel what I'm saying? And at the end of the day, I still want to see everybody win. I still want to see that particular artist win. Sure. But, you know, nobody ever talks about the side that they fucked up at. Nobody ever says the things that they did to lose their situation. Because I've never had an artist to ever ask me out of a deal. I've never had an artist ask me to, you know, I don't want to be here. It's always been a situation where I had to cut ties with that particular artist for whatever reason. Now in that situation or whatever, we ain't gonna put too much light on it because when, you know, if a man and a clown is arguing, after a while you can't tell who's the clown, and I'm a man. But you know, he pulled a pistol out on somebody at work. What can you do? If I am your boss and somebody pulls a pistol on you at work and nobody is threatening your life, if I don't do nothing to him, what kind of boss am I? What kind of leader am I? And so, you know, this is something that's unexcusable. When you up to fire somebody, man, you know, that's life or death. And it was nothing that serious. Ain't giving it. We still wishing the best. But I just pray for them, man. You know, because at the end of the day, they're gonna have to do it themselves now.
Yep.
Now you ain't got a big homie to pay for the bottle. Now you ain't got a big homie to get you in the club. Now you ain't got a big homie to make these calls for you. And until he does something bigger than what I did, well, then we know who needed who. Because if the only reason that he has any kind of relevance is talking about me, well, then we know who the relevant person is. And so, you know, I wish him the best, man. You know, I still go to sleep smiling and have a good time. And that's just what it is. You know what I mean?
Period.
For sure.
Now, before we get into the summit, I want you to talk about originally starting doing showcases while you were serving in the Army.
Wow, yeah. Well, I always knew that there was a lot of talent around me. And so when it was a situation where I had the means to help people showcase their talent, I always did that. And then when we was in the Army, I was in Iraq, we didn't have any, you know, entertainment. Jay-Z wasn't coming out there, 50 Cent wasn't coming out there back then. And so instead of 50 Cent, they got me. And so we put together shows for the troops, you know what I mean? And I always thought, I was like, well, if I can take a person's mind off this war and this killing and this violence for an hour, then I think I've done my job. You know what I mean? Because you know, war is war. It was an experience, and so I always try to be a morale lifter to my fellow troops, and you know, it really felt good to be able to be of service in that manner. And then later on, when I left the war, I actually got contracted by the Army to be like the first Army rapper. And so for like a year and a half, I was just touring, rapping all over the country. So that was a really cool job to be the first hip hop artist on the United States Army Soldier Show. And that goes back to like 1918. The guy that wrote God Bless America is the person that founded it, Urban Berlin. And so to be the first hip hop representative of that, you know, was extremely honorable. I had a good time with it.
That's hard.
Thank you.
That's hard as hell. So let's get into you building the Ugly Money brand. Like, why that name?
Well, Ugly Money is the process of success. Everything between your first dollar and your first million, that's ugly money. It's the ups, the downs, the highs and the lows, and I think that's what my career has been. My career has been a roller coaster. And I've had to learn how to fall down and just, you know, brush the dirt off and get back up and find ways to win from that. You know, I have went from being down to go up, to go down again and find a way to pick myself back up again. And I think that's what Ugly Money embodies, and that's what my career embodies and my life is embodied. And anybody that's on their journey of success is going to have some ups and downs, and that's what before you get to the millions, you're going to have to count a dollar, and that's what Ugly Money is.
Period. I want you to talk about people, you know, having an issue with people such as yourself, or like me or a boom man charging for their time and advice and services, because I think it's a misconception that certain things should be free, where I don't think unless you in this business or game, you don't get it. Like, you know, ain't shit free. Like, you know,
free is too expensive.
It is.
First and foremost, that's a saying. That's a quote that I live by. Free is too expensive. First and foremost, one, you don't want nothing for free because you don't want nobody to say they made you. You feel what I'm saying? If you a grown man or a grown woman, we are kings and queens. We are not bottom feeders. We are not bums. We are not jays. And you know, you should never ask anybody for something of value unless you are ready to compensate them in some shape, form, or fashion. Now, the only kind of compensation isn't money. If you got something that I need and I got something that you need, hey, we can swap these things out, which we do often. But to just come out and look for a handout, I don't think a grown man should ever ask another grown man or a grown person, period, should ever ask another grown person for a handout. You're a grown man. Hey, you know what I'm saying? So that way you're respected more when you actually do have some success, because you know that you did it your way and nobody had to quote unquote make you. Secondly, it's a situation where it's like, well, All these things cost. This camera costs. This locker costs. These lights cost. Everything costs. So if you're telling me that you want to take advantage of something that took me years and years and years to build, then why wouldn't you compensate me for it in some shape, form, or fashion? It took me 20 years in the music industry to learn the knowledge that I can tell you in 15, 20 minutes. I can save you 15 years of headache. I can save you thousands of dollars of wasted money just by having a conversation with me for 20 minutes and say, hey, don't do that because I did that already and that doesn't work. But if I'm going to save you 10 grand, you're scared to give me $100? And that's just supposed to make sense. Just because you're talented doesn't mean it's free. You're talented means that you have the potential to go far in this industry and you have the potential to put out consistent products and consistent music and whatever it is you do. But at the end of the day, talent is God-given, and I believe that God gave us talent. What you do with your talent, that's who you are as a person. So if you don't do nothing with that talent, then we've all heard about the phrase wasted talent. And there's a lot of people out there that are wasted talent. They're extremely talented. They can rap like Kendrick or sing like Mariah Carey, but they have no hustle. They have no business acumen. They have no grind. But the hustler is always going to win. That person that's going to put that foot out there every day to make it happen, that person is always going to win. And that person is going to attract more business because hustlers attract money, and money attracts partners, and partners attract success. And so, I wish them the best, but yeah, free too expensive, man. Hey, if you want something for free, go ask your mama.
Period. Nah, that was real. And I think I always tell people too, like, if somebody chooses to do business, man, it's like you respect them different. You want to help them more because it's like, man, you see what they own. Like, it's just a respect thing, man. Sure. So you wouldn't
hit them up if it wasn't valuable.
Yeah.
Because most of the time, those type of people, they DM you or they inbox you or they reach out to you.
Right.
That means you see that there's some value here or you wouldn't have wasted your time. I remember there was years when nobody picked me up. Nobody wanted to talk to me. Nobody wanted to learn the things that I've learned. But now that you see the things that I've done have worked, now all of a sudden, I want to talk, I want to meet. Okay, well then, brother, you're going to have to take care of me. At least buy a brother a lunch or something, you know what I mean? They don't want to buy you a 3-5. I'm like, man, how is that real though? How is that real that you want to get something out of someone? You want to milk somebody dry, but you don't want to pour back into them. That doesn't make any sense to me.
Facts. And I think even too, just, I still invest with people. Like, you know what I mean? I might book a consultation with somebody just to get that information.
For sure.
So it's like, it don't stop. Like, you know what I mean? That shit don't stop.
We pay too.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like that's how it works. Like,
right.
Each one teach one.
Exactly. Now, I do want you to get into the success of your summits. I feel like every time it get bigger and bigger, you know what I mean? So talk about the success of the summits.
Well, I've always had a knack for getting people to pull up to a room or a club. That's just something that I just always had. Even back home, I used to throw little house parties and people used to always come. And so the music summit, I designed it to cut out the red tape of the industry so that people that were talented could get directly on an intimate situation or intimate, viewing from the label. And I saw that there was a lot of talented artists, they couldn't get to the people that actually could do something with the talent. And I was like, well, if I know the people that can get them, I know the people that can get them on. I know the A&Rs. I know these people that are in these offices in these buildings, and I have a rapport with these artists. Well, why can't I just, make a platform where a talented artist can just come with his talent and get a situation? And I think that's something that we've built, and people have seen, the success of it. Because it's one thing of just person saying it, but it's another thing when you actually see we're at Boosie's house and you actually see that this guy's with Gunna or this person's with Moneybagg Yo. And a lot of those things can't be bought. You have to have relationships. These are years of relationships that I've had, and so we've had a lot of success with it. We just finished our 5th one. We're heading to our 3rd year of summits. We do it every 6 months. And we've gotten several artists offered situations. Some artists got signed. Actually, shout out to my girl Glockiana. She had came to the summit a little while ago, about a year ago, and she just got picked up by Duke Deuce. You know what I'm saying? She was just on Rolling Loud. And so, those success stories and those situations, I think that, people see that it's genuine and it's real, and it adds to people coming each and every year. And I always tell my staff, I'm like, look, we got to be the Chick-fil-A of this thing, you know what I'm saying? Service with a smile. And I'm really big on my word. If I say I'm gonna do something, I do it. And so if you get a service or you're supposed to get something, I'm gonna make sure that it gets done. Period.
Definitely, man. Shit, it's always good business, man.
Yeah.
You know, salute to your team, salute to such and such, salute to Lex. You know, because that's what it's about, man. If you got a solid team, boy.
For sure. Success is a team sport.
It is.
You know what I mean? You got to have some people. I may be the face of things, but man, I wouldn't know how to tie my shoe without Lex. You know what I'm saying? When I moved to Atlanta 5-6 years ago, I didn't know anybody. I just knew how to do things. Such and such was my tour guide. Such and such had all the relationships. I didn't know nobody. I just knew how to promote parties and promote events and things. And so, you know, there's always, you know, behind the personal brand, there's always a strong team. You know what I mean? And I got one of those, I can definitely say.
It's a blessing.
Yeah, for sure.
So in addition to, you know, doing everything else that you do, we know that you are a host as well. You do interviews, man. So what's been your most memorable interview thus far?
Oh, man. Well, I started the Ugly Money podcast in my living room with two iPhones and a GoPro. We didn't have a sound man and we didn't have a cameraman. My most memorable interview, I'm going to have to say Young Jock. And the reason I say Young Jock, when I asked him before I asked him the question about 42 Doug, I was like, you know, before I go broke like Jock, you know, he replied to it. But that was the first interview that I had that really made noise in the hip hop community and the culture, where it went national. We was mentioned in The Source and things of that nature. So that interview was the first interview that I had that really, you know, gave me some light on my platform. Like, okay, we're doing it the right way, right? You know, because when you start into this podcast realm and in the show realm, you don't exactly know, are you doing it right? Is it good? Are people watching? Are they paying attention? But you know, that first interview that hit a couple million views, you know, it kind of solidifies like, okay, we're doing the right things here. And so, you know, the last 28 days, I think we've had a big surge. We had over 30 million views in the past 28 days. I think my YouTube page alone has picked up 65,000 subscribers, and we've had over 50 million views on social media platforms with some of the interviews we had. So it's really jumped up as of late, you know what I'm saying? And I'm actually renovating my whole studio to you know, switch to media, you know, just to give media and podcasters and up and coming podcasters a place to do their thing. So, you know, I think that's the future. I think podcasting and just content in general is the future of a future place of hip hop. And I think, you know, like people like Progress Report, I think we were on it early. You know what I'm saying? But there's a lot of people that are trying to get in that industry. So I want to be of service to them as well.
Nah, that's hard.
Respect.
That's hard, man. And you know, probably your favorite thing out of everything that you do, man. Talk about fatherhood.
Oh man, I love my kids, man. I'm a big daddy, man. I'm a big kid myself. So you know, I just really enjoy it because all of my kids have a piece of me. You know what I'm saying? My son, I believe, has my intelligence. My middle daughter, she has my, you know, just my caring side, and you know, my younger baby, she just sassy as a daddy is. You know what I'm saying? So it's dope to see them grow. It's dope to see the lessons that you teach them and then manifest into their own, you know, human beings and their own personalities. But yeah, I love being a dad. I actually got to go to Augusta tomorrow, and I'm gonna pop in on my son at school just to check him out. He's in magnet school right now, so I'm extremely proud of him.
Nice.
He plays the violin, you know what I'm saying? I was like,
that's dope.
Well, Dad played the drums, but okay, you're playing the instrument. So, you know, he's playing the violin, and you know, my babies, they go to private school. So, you know, I love to pour into them because that's the future. You know what I'm saying? All this is really for them. You know, I think I've done good enough for myself where I'm gonna be straight for the rest of my life. But it's for them. It's for them. You know, my daughters are going to inherit Ugly Money, and my transportation company, my son will inherit it. And I've always been big on generational wealth. You know, that's what we're here for, to leave more than a bill to the next generation. I want to leave. My life goal is to leave each of my kids a business.
That's hard.
I'm on the way to it.
That's hard, man. I love to hear that.
Appreciate that, Queen.
So I gotta ask you, man, how do you feel like you progressed lately as a person, just outside of just your career, like as a person, just on some personal shit?
I think I've grown in my maturity level of dealing with clown shit. I'm extremely proud of myself, you know, because normally I would be like, you know, with all of the bullshit, and I'm like, I'm bigger than this. It's only news if I say something. And so the fact to be able to just look at certain fuckery and just be like, and laugh it off, like, I think that's growth, because I feel that I'm very confident and secure who I am as a man. I know what I do for people, and the people that see my platform, they know what I do, and I don't have to wear my resume on my sleeve or be extremely braggadocious. The work speaks for itself, and so you know, I think that's growth. I think that's growth to be able to ignore, you know, just foolishness and stay on task. You know what I mean? Our numbers are up. The views is up. The followers is up. The bank account is up. There's a Bentley outside. We up. And so to be able to stay on task and block out all the BS, man, that's beautiful. That's growth.
Hell yeah. Nah, that's facts, man. So what all do you got coming up next? I know that you had talked about your, you know, space, and I know we, you know, preparing for the next event soon, first quarter, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
So what's next?
We're doing the next Ugly Money summer tour, winter tour. That's top of 2023. We're sending somebody back to Moneybag Yo. I linked up with Bag. We'll be sending an artist straight to Moneybag Yo for a one-on-one meeting, chance of a lifetime. So the next summit is scheduled for April, and I'm actually going to break ground in 2024 on a 20,000 square foot movie complex where we're going to be shooting movies, media, influencers. I believe that that's where it's going. I believe that that's where, you know, I'm telling everybody now, I'm giving you a free industry hack. Media and influencers are going to be huge in the next coming years. And so I want to be able to give them those kind of people a home. I want to be able to give the influencers, the skit guys, the comedians, you know, a place to call home and do their content and things of that nature. So it's 20,000 square foot, 2024, calling it the the culture house. And I'm looking forward to that as well. And then, you know, got China Monet, she just dropped, I feel the biggest single of her life, Whoosh, What You Saying, Ho. It's been going crazy on TikTok and all streaming platforms. And my artist Moody, we just released his first single, and I think it did 50,000 views his first couple of days. So he's progressing really quicker than I thought he was. You know what I'm saying? And so, you know, it's just big things coming, and we're going to continue to work and continue to grind, and I'm loving it all.
That's hard.
Yes, ma'am.
That's hard. Well, I'm blessed to have a relationship with y'all.
For sure.
You know, it's lit.
Anytime Lala call, it's a go.
Man, it's hard, man. But nah, I love what y'all doing though, and I think, you know, we just need you to keep doing what you're doing, just to show people like, man, you could just, you know, just do what you want to do and do what you love to do and still have integrity and shit. So I think that shit fire.
I mean, I think that's big. That's just how I was raised, you know what I'm saying? And I think that's what my brand embodies, so I never want to step outside of it.
Thanks.
I'm here to help. I'm never here to tear anybody down. I'm also going to protect myself at all shapes, forms, and sizes. You know what I mean? I'm going to speak up for myself, but I am here to help. And everybody that's texted my number and did business with me got something in return and left better than what they came. And I can honestly say that, and I'm proud of that. That the fact that every time that I do business with someone, it is exactly what I say it's going to be. You know what I mean? And you know, that's something that you can, you know, you brush your shoulder off on. I appreciate that.
Absolutely, man. Well, shit, keep going up into the next interview.
Hey, man, it's all love, man. Shouts out to the Progress Report, and congratulations to all your success, man. I love it. I was so happy to hear all of the great things that's happening over here, and you know, you definitely give us something to strive towards as well, Queen.
Absolutely, man. I appreciate that.
Amen.
Okay.
The Progress Report.